Try and get a bit of light on me. Get rid of top chat. Come on, straighten up with the background. Nearly straighter. Yeah, that's straighter with the background, but now my top of my head's cut off. Oh well. Let me just turn that to live chat. So I thought I would just come on here and do this as a live stream rather than record a video. I thought if it's going to take ages for me to set everything up, record a video, edit that video, upload that video. Whereas doing this, I can just go live. Hello. So this is just a live stream about an issue that seems to be developing again, and I don't really know what to do about the issue. But at the same time, I'd like to know how widespread this issue is, whether other creators are currently experiencing it or have noticed comments that make them think this is happening. And also whether other viewers, other than people who've commented on my videos, whether viewers have experienced it on other people's channels as well. So obviously some people will know that back in 2018, I started getting comments saying that there was adverts showing in the middle of my videos. And initially, YouTube, I just thought maybe it's not adverts in the middle of videos, it's a beginning advert at the beginning of the next video. So if someone's playing a playlist or has their settings set to autoplay whatever YouTube shows next, then obviously if the autoplayed the next video has adverts in, then you might see an advert or two at the beginning of that next video. Nowadays, most likely two. So I initially thought that's all it was that people were putting on a sleep story, getting to the end of it, and the advert wasn't in the middle of my sleep story. It was actually between one sleep story and whatever comes next. People were then saying, no, literally it's like 10 minutes after I've gone to bed, 10 minutes after I put it on. So I then tried to approach YouTube about it. YouTube said it's not a problem, doesn't happen, your viewers are wrong. So they sort of said maybe a viewer has, for example, a ad blocker, that a lot of ad blockers make revenue from showing ads to those using the ad blocker, ironically. So apparently, if someone has an ad blocker installed, then the ad blocker can show ads during YouTube videos that make money for the ad blocker. And so their thing was maybe these people are using things like ad blockers to try and get around YouTube advertising. So obviously I was answering comments saying these are the things YouTube are telling me. The problem still persisted, so I approached YouTube and said people are still getting adverts. They're 100% confident it is an advert. It's not because of an ad blocker. It's not between videos. It's an ad right in the middle of a video. YouTube still continued to deny it and said that unless I can provide proof, they won't look into it any further. So I had people send me screenshots of the little yellow marks that you can see during the sort of in the line at the bottom that shows that there's going to be adverts in the video. So I sent these for photos to YouTube. YouTube said, nope, not good enough evidence. That just shows that there are ads scheduled for that, due to go off during that video. And you might have turned the ads on yourself. So obviously I had the ads turned off. So they then said that they would have to see actual video evidence that an ad is playing. And obviously because it was happening randomly and I never had it happen to me personally, and because it happens randomly, I know, because it happens randomly, obviously the person would be expected to have this random ad happen, probably while they're trying to sleep, and then they'd have to somehow record their mobile phone or whatever device to evidence that, to supply YouTube with the evidence they're asking for. But a couple of people managed to do this, managed to get video evidence of ads starting during videos, and then them having to click off the ad, and then it goes back to my video to show that this is in my video. So I sent all that to YouTube, and they still denied that it was a thing. And this obviously carried on all the way through until September 2019 or 2020 or whatever it was. No, winter 2019. YouTube, they've got a channel where they update people, creators, on what's going on with YouTube, what their latest things are they're doing. And they said in winter of 2019, oh, by the way, we've been testing having mid-roll ads and post-roll ads, so the ads that show after a video. We've been testing having them on videos that currently have them turned off. So creators have always had the choice, which seems pointless if they choose to overrule it. Creators have always had the choice to turn on or not ads either before, during, or after your video. So you can select, right, I only want adverts to show at the beginning. I only want adverts. I want adverts to show at the beginning and in the middle. I want adverts to show the beginning, the middle, and the end, whatever. And you can select where you want the adverts to show, or let YouTube automatically show them. So for the mid-roll ads, YouTube, if you select to show mid-roll ads, by default, YouTube fills your video with adverts. But you can click the Manage Mid-Roll Ads button, and then you can say, right, actually, I don't want 30 ads during this 60-minute video. And you can then unselect all YouTube's ads that they've put in your video and then place them where you want. So, for example, over on the Mind Changers channel, if I upload, say, a long video, say a 30-minute video or an hour-long documentary type video, I will usually have like an advert every 15 minutes as if it's a TV program. And so I will delete all of YouTube's ads, and then I'll go and place mine in at set places that I've already decided on before making the video where the ads would fit. But I don't do that at all, obviously, on the Sleep channel, because I don't want adverts in the middle of my videos over here, because that kind of defeats the whole point of having something for sleep. If you might get say an action film advert suddenly play right in the middle of trying to sleep, or whatever other ads they might show you. So it's when they announced that they had been doing this trial, putting ads in the middle of videos where the creator has chosen not to have the ads. And the idea was that they were trying to see, because their thinking was there's a lot of creators who, once YouTube introduced mid-roll ads, were scared to turn mid-roll ads on. The same as the ads at the beginning. YouTube felt that creators were scared that if you put an advert at the beginning of your video that people couldn't skip, then no one's going to watch your video. But YouTube wants you to have your adverts on and in your videos. So YouTube had been trialing the idea that if they put mid-roll ads in these videos of the creators who've chosen not to turn them on, does it generally reduce how many views those creators get, and how much of the video the people who watch the video actually watch? So does it negatively affect retention of those videos? And what YouTube said was it doesn't particularly negatively affect retention of videos. So there's going to be a few exceptions, but generally across the board, most videos, when they have mid-roll ads, people carry on watching the video even though there's been an advert in the middle of it, or 3 or 4 adverts in it. People want to watch the video, so they just press, they sort of watch the 5 seconds, then press skip and try and move on. So YouTube announced late 2019 that in summer of 2019 they were going to roll out putting mid-roll ads in every single video that's eligible across the whole of YouTube. And that if you've got those mid-roll ads turned off, by default, YouTube is going to turn those ads on in all of your videos on your channel. And by default, they will place the ads where they want to in all of your videos across your channel. So that's what they did. That I tried to opt out, and I kept saying to YouTube, I don't want this to happen to my channel. I've got hundreds of videos. The last thing I want is hundreds of sleep stories to suddenly be filled with adverts. And that's exactly what happened. That YouTube had this date where they said it's happening on that date. So on that date, all my videos suddenly got filled with ads every few minutes in every single one of my videos. So I had to go through all my videos, turn off all of the mid-roll ads. And even though that was irritating, I thought at the time, good, that's the end of it. They've done their trial. They were secretive about their trial. They obviously never told the support team that they were doing this trial, because the support team obviously kept telling me nothing was going on. So I thought they've at least done this trial. They've got their results. They're still giving creators the chance to turn ads on or off. So someone beat me to it. So I thought they've done their trial and everything. Everything should be okay now. This is tedious, but they've got no reason now to show ads in the middle of my videos, because they did their trial, and now that trial was over, and they've implemented the result of the trial, which was to show, turn on all the ads. I have then chosen to turn off the ads, and so hopefully it won't happen again. And that was in, I think, August 2020. And then, as most of you know, in September 2020, I think it was late September 2020, I posted a video, which sleep story, which I thought I was really proud of. It was one of my favorites. It was made during one of the live sleep meditation creation sessions. So I really liked the sleep story. I was really, really proud of it, and looking forward to people who hadn't been part of the creation session to finally get to hear it. And because it goes live late at night, I went to bed. So I checked all the settings, made sure everything was okay, made sure it was fine, ready to go live overnight after I'd gone to bed, and thought I look forward to waking up in the morning and seeing what the general kind of audience on my channel thought of that sleep story, because obviously very few people were part of the creation session. And so I went to bed, woke up in the morning, and saw that I had notifications saying I've got dozens and dozens of comments on that video. And so I thought, oh, it's done better than I expected. Dozens and dozens of comments on this video so quickly. That's really good. And then I went to it, and it had very low views. It will teach me to sleep, exactly. It had very low views, very, very high rate of dislikes. And the dozens and dozens of comments were predominantly people very aggressive and very angry about how there's adverts during this video every 3 minutes or so. I'd also lost dozens of subscribers overnight as well on my channel. And that was at a point where I was frequently gaining a lot. Back in August 2020, I'd gained 6,500 subscribers in that 1 month, and was regularly gaining about 4,500 to 6,000 ish over the sort of the whole of 2020 up to that point every month. And so it was unusual to wake up with the previous day's subscriber count being a negative. It didn't show that till 10 a.m, but because that's when it updates it. But it was a negative because of that one video. And obviously I went through and I replied to as many comments as I could. Lots of other people jumped into my defense and said, Dan didn't do this on purpose. This will be a YouTube thing. Obviously, I'd openly spoken about this issue and how this issue had happened across 2018, 2019, and right up to when I thought was a resolution of it in 2020. And so I said, I can't post any more on here. I can't post any more sleep stories, at least. I can't post any more sleep stories until this is either resolved well, until it's resolved. If it's not resolved, then I just can't post sleep stories, because people were thinking that I was valuing money and making money by filling my videos with ads above valuing people's well-being by not having the ads. And obviously anyone who knows me knows that isn't true, but all the people who don't know me, who were suddenly trying to find something to help them sleep, were obviously rightly very angry and aggressive about it. Not necessarily right that they're aggressive, but right that they're angry. And so I came off YouTube for about 6 weeks on this channel. So I still did the mind changers, and I still had some scheduled videos on this channel, which went live across a period of time. But I stopped posting brand new sleep stories on this channel for about 6 weeks or so, while I was trying to get YouTube to address the issue. And initially YouTube then again said, nope, there's no problem, it doesn't exist, no one is seeing ads unless you've turned the ads on. I obviously said, no, I 100% haven't turned the ads on, don't turn the ads on. Is this some kind of a glitch? Has something happened? I know you've just put ads on in all videos just like a month earlier. Has there been some glitch? What, this needs resolving, because I can't upload sleep content if it's filled with adverts. And if at any point it gets filled with adverts. So that one went live filled with adverts, but obviously historically everything was already live and then would randomly get adverts in it that YouTube would just place there. So YouTube initially refused to look into it. A bunch of subscribers and viewers then contacted YouTube very aggressively saying, you need to address this, you need to look into it. We want Dan to keep posting, and we can't watch his videos if you fill them with adverts, and Dan isn't filling them with adverts. And so YouTube, because so many people complained to them about my channel and my sleep stories and how they were filled with adverts, YouTube then decided we'll reopen the case and look into it. And then after a few weeks they said, we found a fault, we've addressed the fault, you can carry on posting now. It will never happen again. It was just a glitch. It won't happen again. And I then didn't trust them, because this had been going on since 2018. So I didn't trust them. And so I kept saying, I want evidence of this. I want evidence of what the fault is, and evidence of the fact it's been resolved, and why that means it's not going to happen again. And YouTube obviously just kept saying, nope, we're not going to give you that. We're not going to tell you anymore. You can just start posting, it won't happen again, the issue is solved. So obviously I kind of a bit nervously came back and carried on posting again. But by then, obviously 6 weeks or so of not posting, and lots of people being so angry and leaving my channel because of being angry, and me saying I'm not going to post unless I can get this issue fixed. If I can't get it fixed, I can't post, meant lots of people then also just thought, well then Dan is gone from YouTube, or we don't like Dan anymore. So the number of views I got after I came back on a monthly basis was significantly lower than the monthly views I was getting up to the point where this happened. So it had such a huge kind of negative kick to my channel. And so I hoped that still would be the end of it. And I had the occasional person would leave a comment during 2021 saying, oh, I had an advert in this video, and I would just sort of hope it's not a real thing and just brush it off and say, oh, maybe it's an advert playing between videos, etc., like I'd done before. But it was only very sporadic. It was only like once every few months I would get a comment like that. And then in 2022, I started getting a couple more comments. So every month I'd get a couple of comments. What kind of concerns me and has made me kind of post this video now is that literally in the last 3 days or so, I've had 5 comments so far on different videos. One on an 8-hour video saying something like, liar, there are adverts during this video, or whatever it was that it said. Because obviously my 8-hour videos very specifically say 8 hours of sleep stories though that specific one was something like 8 hours of sleep stories, black screen, no ads. And yet it had, obviously this person had adverts throughout it. And then others are on normal length videos. So having so many people say this just in the last few days, and Abby saw a notification from a channel that she follows where she watches their meditation, their music meditation videos quite often, where they just have like nice countryside on screen and relaxing music playing. And they had done a community post saying apologies for ads showing up in some of our videos that people have been telling us are there. We think maybe some of the copyright holders of the music have decided they don't want us to have it royalty free anymore, and so they're making claims on the videos and then having adverts, which can happen. That's why I pretty much never use anything that belongs to anyone else, because the copyright holder, even if they give you the rights to use it royalty free at one point, can decide at another point that they no longer want you to have that royalty free, even though you've paid for it. And they'll then put ads on your video so that they make revenue from you using their song or their tune. And you can then obviously challenge it because you've got evidence that you did buy it as a royalty free for commercial license piece of music. And so really, if they make a decision to change that afterwards, it shouldn't affect the fact that you've bought it for that purpose and you're using it for the purpose that you paid for. And it's normally quite expensive to license music with a commercial license for royalty-free use. But YouTube, the way YouTube works in terms of its copyright system, if the copyright holder just says, no, don't care, not gonna kind of go back on my decision that this person is breaching my copyright. If that person decides that, YouTube then says, you can take this further, but if you lose and they still say, no, we're not going to back down, you will get a strike on your channel, and 3 strikes means your channel gets shut down. So the pressure is on the creator that you just decide, I'm not even going to argue it. It's a bit like with fair use with things like reaction channels. You could get a reaction channel or a review channel that's doing brilliant reviews of, say, films or whatever, where they've used a couple of clips from the film. And if the copyright holder of that film says, nope, it may well be fair use, but I don't think it is, I'm not going to treat it as fair use, you get the same notification. You can challenge it, but if you challenge it and they still say, no, I'm not backing down, I still say it's not fair use, then you run the risk of having a strike on your channel, and you get 3 strikes and you're out. So it's not really in the creator's favor the way YouTube works in terms of things like its copyright processes. And the same with the whole ad thing. They show ads. You don't really seem to have much choice in that, even though you've got a button to select to say, I don't want these ads to show. And in theory, they shouldn't show. So yeah, it's this is just hopefully not going to be too long a video, but it was just to kind of say that I'd like to know. So for example, as I say, Abby had a creator that she follows announce that they have had this problem and haven't been able to tackle it, and all they can do is apologize in the community tab. But people, especially who aren't subscribed to the channel, who discover their videos, won't read their community tab to read the community post, and will there'll be some people who will still get ads and then will complain and say, why do you put ads in the middle of these videos? And so that's the same here, that I'm doing this video because I want to know how widespread this is, whether yeah, how many people as viewers, not just of my content, but especially of other people's content, because I know it happens on my channel. What I want to know is, does it happen on other people's channels? Because you feel like an island when you do YouTube. You feel very much like you're on a little island all on your own. And I love the idea of being on an island on my own, but there are times when being part of a community is helpful. And so knowing whether other similar creators are having similar comments, having, you know, people say, I've had comments on my videos from disgruntled viewers, even though I don't put the adverts there, etc. You know, I'd be curious from other creators to get in touch, because then I would know it's happening to other people, other creators, not just me. And obviously from a viewer perspective, as I say, I know that it happens to viewers on my channel, but it would be interesting to know if it happens to viewers who viewed other people's content, and they can say, for example, I don't know, oh, I was watching a Michael Seeley video and an advert popped up 15 minutes in, or I was watching a meditation vacation video and an advert popped up 15 minutes in, or a Michelle Sanctuary video, or whatever it happens to be. You know, people being able to say that they're watching, they've seen it on other videos, so that it's not just me and my videos that are impacted. And as has kind of been pointed out in the comments, in the live chat, a good thing about this would be that then there might be more of a case to be able to say to YouTube, look, because I tried arguing with YouTube that when I sort of approached them after it happened in 2020 and I was trying to address the 2020 issue, I tried sort of saying, when you were running your testing, you were running it across all the channels. Isn't there a way that you can say clearly meditation videos, sleep videos, any video that is of the kind of video where it is vitally important that ads don't show in the middle of the video, can be exempt from that kind of testing, where you can just say, right, we'll test it with these type of videos? Because I don't think people even notice, I don't think creators even notice if there's ads that YouTube are playing during, say, a vlog. Say someone's uploaded a daily vlog video, and that daily vlog video has a bunch of adverts in it. People are so used to now with YouTube having ads in the middle of their videos that creator may well have the ads in the middle turned off, but they may not know that people are seeing those ads, because people don't mention that they've seen the ads, because why would they? Because they're so used to seeing ads like that. So I think it's only when you know you shouldn't see an ad, like during a sleep story or something, that it really stands out to the viewer. That shouldn't have been there. That's not something that that creator would probably have put there. I complained to YouTube, I think some of you might have seen this over on Twitter. I complained to YouTube as a viewer that YouTube a couple of months ago threw in lots of adverts, lots more adverts into the videos that you watch on YouTube. And I was saying, you've made YouTube unwatchable. I watch channels like Simon Dan. I watch various reaction channels. All of these channels have, I don't know, ads every 2 or 3 or 4 minutes now, especially in the longer videos. And it gets really, really frustrating, because you just can't watch the video. And these are channels that I've followed for years, some of them. And so I know that those creators, I know how they put the ads in their videos. I know, like, for example, say Simon Dan, there's a channel I follow. He might have an ad just after he's done an introduction bit, and then you might have an ad sort of 5 minutes into, say, a 15-minute video, or 7 minutes or something into the video. But that'll be it, and then an ad at the end. It won't be an ad every 2 or 3 minutes throughout the whole video. And yet all of a sudden his videos are filled with adverts. But YouTube, so far as a viewer, YouTube have ignored me when I've tried to raise the issue from a viewer perspective. Glad to hear that decompression zone that you haven't yet had people experience ads during your narration. It is a very frustrating thing, and it hopefully isn't overly common. Well, I say yet. I don't want it to become common. I don't want it to be a thing. I'm hoping that it's just something a little bit on my channel and then it disappears. But yeah, it's I'm hoping it's just not really much of it. If it's only in my videos, that's kind of, I wouldn't be happy about that, because I'd be thinking, why does it have to only happen in my videos? I don't think it's only happening in my videos, but yeah, if it is that kind of thing and everyone says, no, it's not happening on my channel, don't know what you're talking about, kind of thing, then it'd be like, oh no, why has my channel got to have these ads showing up when I don't want them? But yeah, but the positive is that I would like the fact that then at least it's not a wider problem. But I think that in terms of getting YouTube to tackle it, having a bunch of channels say, yes, I've had viewers say that, and it seems to be happening maybe a bit more than it used to or whatever, would give a case for saying it's not just one person saying it anymore. It's not just like me going to YouTube and saying, here is an issue, address it. Yeah, I have tried to look at alternatives to YouTube, but there's not really anything out there. YouTube has a bit of a monopoly on this kind of platform, and other platforms, frustratingly, all have their various limitations. So, for example, something like Vimeo, I think, is quite good in terms of how everything looks and runs and what have you. And it has some positives if you're like a business and you need somewhere to host your content. But the fact that you have to pay and there are limitations if you don't pay, it just makes it unworkable as an alternative to YouTube. Then you've got things like Dailymotion and VO, I think it's called, and things like that. They're pretty much unusable for this kind of thing. They don't give you so much control, it seems, over where adverts show, so you can have the same kind of problem as you get here. And they also, hello on your lunch break, and you also get the problem that those sites just seem, I don't know, really chaotic, really bad user interface. I don't know. I don't think there's any alternative, any good alternative. Someone needs to create a good alternative to YouTube that everyone can jump over to, that gives the creator some level of control over how they upload stuff. Yeah, I pretty much don't watch TV now. But yeah, obviously, so I don't use YouTube memberships. My main reason for not using YouTube memberships, even though YouTube obviously keeps giving me the notification saying that I can do, is because I use Patreon. I don't want to divide my attentions everywhere. But I would use YouTube memberships if it had one setting, and that is the option to say that if someone is paying to view my channel on YouTube, then I can set it so they don't see adverts. So and YouTube would then honor that. So if YouTube did it that because you can obviously do the paid subscription to YouTube itself as a platform, but not everyone wants to do that. So yeah, I just think that if YouTube had the option to make it so that when someone's a member, you can choose that those members won't see adverts, and part of them being members is they get ad-free access to all of your videos on that channel. YouTube takes a cut of the YouTube membership, so they've got a vested interest in people, creators using that service as an alternative to taking people off YouTube and using something like Patreon. So yeah, it's an irritating issue, which I'm hoping isn't too wide a problem, but I just wanted to obviously come on here and make a video to talk about my experiences of it, and hope that then other creators who work in a similar kind of area doing meditation, hypnosis, sleep stuff, so that's meditation including like meditation music and things where you don't want ads in the middle of your music, that then I can hear from other creators and from viewers of other channels, not just my channel, sharing your views, just because I want to know how wide the issue is, and I would then, if it carries on, be in a better position when approaching YouTube to say, here are a bunch of other creators who are having the same issue. Here is a number of different viewers from a number of different channels who are all saying they're experiencing this. Yeah, so hopefully everyone's enjoying their lunches. I haven't had lunch yet. I wanted to jump on here and do this first, after I'd got the Patreon, my recent story over onto Patreon. That is one place. So obviously I can be found all over the place. I'm a bit like an internet rash. I'm everywhere. I have all my stuff as audio on Patreon. So over on Patreon, I just share it all as MP3s, and you can download it. You can listen to it within Patreon, etc. But you can also download it and listen to it in podcast apps and things like that. So that way it gets around. There's no adverts or anything, so that way it gets around everything. You don't have to worry about like having your screen open because of it being a video or anything like that. So Patreon is good for all that. My audio is also all on various streaming and downloads services. So pretty much everything that I create is, once I've created enough, because it costs me money obviously to place stuff onto streaming and download services. So once I've created enough to make another album worth of content, I then upload an album's worth of content, which gets pinged out to Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, Amazon Music, where else? SoundCloud. I can't think where else, but dozens and dozens of different places where you can listen to audio. My stuff gets pinged out there. So I've got like 300 odd tracks, for example, on Spotify. And I always have all the links in my descriptions of my sleep stories saying you can go and visit these locations for different stuff. But yeah, it's something like Spotify, for example, pays less than YouTube per kind of 1,000 views or ad shows or whatever you might want to call it. And obviously you have to, you still get adverts on Spotify unless you pay for a premium service. So that's not necessarily ideal, but yeah, it's you can buy the albums, for example, on Amazon Music or iTunes. You can just buy the whole album. So notice on Amazon Music, because when I used to have my stuff as a podcast, I made zero income from it, from the stuff that the only way I could make an income on the podcast thing was when people paid to subscribe to my podcast. And obviously very, very, very few people paid to subscribe to my podcast. So all the free tracks would end up on Spotify, but I would make no royalties from them. And yet the same free tracks I can make available as audio, as like music, even though that, or spoken word or whatever. And because they're not classed as podcasts, I then get paid for them being there, which kind of irritates me that you get people like, if you're a big famous person, you can start a podcast, be on Spotify and paid a fortune. But if you're not, then you can get your stuff on there as a podcast, but you don't get paid a penny. Or you can get your stuff on there as if you're a music artist and you'll then get paid. So that's why it's kind of on there as it is. But yeah, YouTube wouldn't be so bad if they just let us creators make the decisions that we seem to be allowed to make. We have the option. We have tick boxes that say turn on these adverts, turn off these adverts, etc. It would be good if we're given those options and then YouTube honors our decision as creators rather than overruling our decisions. But as you say, I think it's just YouTube's way of seeing because for example, channels like mine have very long watch time. So if you've got a lot of videos are really short on YouTube. So if you've got like a video that's 5 minutes long, 10 minutes long, then people don't pay much advertising revenue to get on those videos. People want want ads on videos that seem to keep viewers on that video for a long period of time. And obviously, if people are watching like a sleep story, then they listen largely to a large bulk of that sleep story, even though it's a long video. So the watch time is quite big on channels like ours. And so advertisers really want their content on our type of videos. But at the same time, they want ads in the middle of our videos. We don't want that because it shows, YouTube can see, oh, your viewers are watching, say it's an hour-long video. Your viewers on average are watching, say, 40 minutes of your hour-long video. Do you not realize how many adverts you could show someone in that 40 minutes that the average viewer has watched of your hour-long video? So YouTube, I think, are trying, probably, even though I've not asked them at all yet, and they probably wouldn't reveal it until after it's happened, and until whatever outcome is. I suspect they're doing a similar thing to what they did before. They're wondering why certain channels are still not showing adverts, even though they've got the ability to do so, and are trying to see if the adverts have any sort of impact on the views on those channels. So I suspect they're doing a similar kind of trial as they did before. But yeah, it's just a bit of an irritation. And I've spent the last few days responding to a number of people, as I say, who have commented saying, I've seen ads. Why are there ads in this video? But yeah, and thank you for subscribing 95,000 subscribers ago. 96,000 subscribers ago, nearly. Probably. I'm trying to work out how many subscribers I've got now. Back when I was a baby channel, I imagine. So while I'm here, I may as well stay for an hour because I like things to be in nice, neat blocks. Glad you like the channel. Yeah, I'm really hoping. I joined Odyssey, and I have my videos going automatically onto Odyssey as a potential alternative to YouTube, but that's got almost no viewers over on Odyssey. So I think my videos have about 6 views across all 300 or 400 or whatever videos are over on Odyssey. so they don't really have any viewers for videos like mine. And I don't know if so Odyssey works a bit different. So I don't know if it's going to work out having my stuff there. But the good thing about Odyssey, and the reason why I went with it, is that they allow it to, you can sync it with your YouTube channel. So everything I upload here on YouTube automatically ends up on Odyssey without me having to go and upload it there. All my descriptions end up on Odyssey. All of the actual videos themselves and everything all end up on Odyssey. So it's exactly, it looks a lot like YouTube in terms of how it looks, and the fact that at least in the short term, where I'm not kind of, there's no reason, I don't want to spend as long as it takes me to do everything on YouTube, doing that on an entirely different platform that doesn't seem to get views. So it's quite handy that for now, at least, everything auto generates over there. And if it turns out that an audience develops over there and people like that, then obviously I would probably cut down what I upload here, or probably still upload stuff here, but focus on that as the main channel, because it makes sense to upload stuff here, have it auto generated over on Odyssey, but then be on Odyssey most of the time in terms of responding to comments. But I can't see Odyssey taking off and being that successful. And it would have to be able to generate some kind of revenue to make it worthwhile as well, to put effort into that one. But yeah, it is unfortunate that for years YouTube has very, very clearly remained the best platform for creators, for viewers, despite its flaws and despite all the complaints. But at the same time, obviously in any business, they always say, find what you want to, like, say you wanted to create a platform like YouTube. They'd say, right, you want to create a platform like YouTube, go and look at your competitors, look at what they're doing wrong, and make something that's like all your competitors, but without all the flaws that those competitors have. And so it's weird that obviously YouTube has so many flaws that no big business person has decided to create their own version. Bright light. I just find that it helps and I can do it. So yeah, it just seems odd that Elon Musk has gone and potentially is buying Twitter, but he could just as easily have spent those billions on creating a platform like YouTube that doesn't have half the problems. So one example, and anyone out there who makes reaction videos would possibly agree with this. I don't know, because there's a lot of reaction people who I watch, because if I like something, I quite like. So those of you who are old enough to remember when people used to sit in the same room to watch things together, I used to buy a lot of films because because I'd want to show other people. So for example, I know a lot of you have watched this film because I've spoken about it a lot. There's a kind of horror that's more funny than horror called Evil Ed, about a film editor and who edits horror films, and he goes a little bit he has a few problems because of editing horror films all day and night. And so I watched Evil Ed, and all I wanted was to show everyone Evil Ed. I wanted to see other people's reactions to this thing that I really, really like. And so that's why I like reaction channels, because I like, if I like something, like I like The Last of Us and The Last of Us Part 2, the PlayStation games. So I like watching other people who are emotive and expressive playing those games and seeing their reaction to those games, because I want to see what they think of the games, even though they're complete strangers to me. I just like seeing people enjoying things that I enjoy. And so what I think would be good and what I think is missing, I was talking to Abby about this the other day, that on TV, you've obviously got lots of different people's content and it's just shown. You've got things like MTV or other music TV channels that have music playing, and obviously it's the channel is funded by adverts, etc., etc. You've then got all the radio stations, digital ones, sort of online ones now as well, where they play music, and they obviously have a deal where the artists then get paid something. I think that something exactly the same as that should happen with something like YouTube. So if someone were to set up an alternative platform to YouTube, the one thing that they should do is go into a deal with a sort of revenue sharing deal with TV and film companies and music companies, etc., where you say, right, you get like 50, every channel is treated, every creator's channel is treated as I'll see you at the end of your shift. Every creator's channel is treated almost like a separate TV channel, as it were. And I think that that would work really well, because then you'd get, for example, I watch people react to Elvis Presley, different Elvis Presley songs. And I especially watch like Elvis Nation, and he's always having problems with copyright issues. And again, it would be good if instead of him having copyright issues, the license holders had gone into a deal via YouTube so that when people use your content, then you get some money, say a 50-50 revenue share, you get some money on ad revenue, etc. The creator gets some money on ad revenue, and you treat it almost like that is a separate TV channel. That is, you know, the Elvis Nation TV channel kind of thing, where Elvis Presley stuff gets played on the channel, critiqued on the channel by Brent and other people that he brings in to that, yeah, his little audience there and his channel of people. They critique stuff, but then the copyright holders make money from their stuff being shown to an audience, and potentially then have people going and buying stuff and looking further into stuff that they've suddenly discovered. So I just think that it would be better off all round if these industries move with the times, and instead of trying to shut everyone down in terms of like copyright and striking and YouTube being over strict on the way it implements copyright, and how, for example, I've got a video over on the Mind Changers channel. I think I've shared it on here as well. One of my hypnosis documentary videos. And during the hypnosis documentary, I talk about using hypnosis, how hypnosis has been used for pain control and entertainment, etc. And while I'm talking about all this, I'm showing some clips of different related things that are directly related to what I'm actually talking about. One of the things that I talk about means that the clip that's over the top is a brief, sort of over the top, sort of on video while I'm talking over it, is a brief clip of Darren Brown doing the sticking a needle through the back of someone's hand thing. There's no audio. I don't use the audio of Darren Brown's clip. It's about 10 seconds of footage from one of his episodes. I credit it in the video. It's directly relevant to exactly what I'm talking about. And it got copyright struck. And so I then challenged it, and I explained it's 100% fair use. It's directly relevant to what I'm talking about in a documentary that I've made about hypnosis, and about, I'm talking here about the entertainment and stuff and about pain control, and it's directly relevant. And they still said, nope, we refuse to back down on the copyright thing. And then obviously I got the notification saying you can challenge this, but if they still say no, we are sticking by what we say, you will get a strike on your channel. So instead, I just deleted that section from and what I'm saying over it. I just deleted that from my footage. But that exact same thing would have passed perfectly fine if it was on TV or if it was on Netflix or another streaming service, because it was fair use. It was fully referenced. It was a very short bit of clip. It didn't even have the audio, so it was just the video because I'm talking over it, showing what I'm talking about while I'm talking over it. So at the moment, I think on YouTube, that's way over the top how their system works and how unfavorable it is to creators when creators try and challenge things and want to challenge things. I do believe that in terms of fair use specifically, there is a lot of creators who aren't doing fair use, who literally sit silently while something plays on the screen, and then they say at the end, well, that was great, hope to see you in the next video. And that's obviously not fair use. That's literally playing the thing that's someone else's content. But I do think that even with that, if it was a revenue sharing system that was more like it was, you're doing a revenue share on this person's content, so that the creator makes money, the rights holder makes money, and their stuff gets shown wider, then I just think that there is a space for someone to create a YouTube alternative that upholds fairness to everyone involved, to those who want to make money out of their content, their own personal content, like people who've made films or music or whatever, while at the same time allowing people to do the things that everyone's moving towards, which is things like reaction videos and taking content and making like TikToks out of it, repurposing it in some way. All this stuff, I feel times haven't moved on to suit. So, as well as my issue of having adverts in the middle of my videos, I think the wider issue in terms of the way YouTube works, someone could come along, make an alternative to YouTube, and perhaps do what Odyssey has done and sync it up so that you can sync it straight to YouTube first of all, because then that way, say I've mentioned Elon Musk because obviously he's rich and he's already buying Twitter, but say Elon Musk came along and said, right, I'm going to create a YouTube type of service, and I think it would be handy to have it where you can have things, if he was going to go for what he goes for, handy to have things where you can turn things off if you don't want to see certain types of content. You can select, I don't want to see this type of content. That would be very handy. That would be handy on YouTube. But yeah, I think if someone like that came along, created an alternative to YouTube that did a deal with all the different companies or the industries to make sure that everyone would get paid when content is used, the creator doing something with that content would get paid if they can get the views, obviously, and so would the companies whose content is being used or the creators whose content is being used. And then they actually honor what creators say in terms of adverts, and maybe give some different paid tiers or something for those who would like to watch it without ads. But if they do similar to Odyssey and they make it so that it syncs with your YouTube channel, when you set up an account, you can sync it with your YouTube channel and it'll auto copy everything from YouTube, your channel, over to that platform. That would mean that it would be a no-brainer for people to subscribe to, to sign up, creators to sign up for the channel, because you sign up, you click a few buttons, and all of your content doesn't have to be re-uploaded manually again. It just, within 24 hours, is sitting on the new platform for everyone to watch on that new platform. So if you had a new platform set up, within months, you could easily have tens of thousands, millions, whatever, creators where they've just copied all their content straight from YouTube over to this new platform, and you carry on as if that is YouTube, because nothing else would be different. It's just a different URL. So yeah. Anyway, thank you for those of you who've sat through an hour of me talking and complaining at the beginning, and then trying to think of ways things can be improved at the end. But thank you all for jumping in here. And if anyone has, if you're making it this far, if anyone has had the issues crop up on other creators' channels where you've had ads in the middle of videos that you're watching, or if you're a creator of things like hypnosis, meditation, self-hypnosis, sleep stories, whatever, if you're a creator of any of the kind of videos where ads should not be in the middle of your videos or at the end of your videos, but viewers keep telling you, yes, there are ads, comment below as well, because obviously I do want to hear from you and see how big an issue it is and what can be done maybe moving forward, whether it's a group bunch of people approaching YouTube together saying these videos need to be exempt or whatever it is. I just think it would be more helpful if it's done collectively rather than one sole small channel trying to say it. So anyway, thank you again for being here, and I'm going to have some lunch and then crack on with even more work. See you later.